Today, we're jumping into Joypurhat, Bangladesh. Our source material calls it an agricultural heartland and also a historical gem.
That's right.
So our mission today is to get a quick, solid grasp on what makes this district tick, what makes it unique, drawing from that description.
And Joypurhat is fascinating because it really acts like a sort of microcosm, doesn't it? It shows how regional identity forms, how the past and present weave together in these places.
A blueprint, almost. Okay, so let's ground ourselves first. Where exactly is Joypurhat?
It's up in the northwestern part of Bangladesh, part of the Rajshahi division.
Right, and its borders. I noticed it's mostly surrounded by other districts, but there's that small international border, too.
Exactly, yeah, a little stretch touching India's West Bengal. And the land itself is key. Mostly flat, very fertile. It's part of the barren tract.
Ah, the barren tract. That means that slightly higher ground, the reddish clay soil.
Precisely. And that soil isn't just a detail. It's fundamental to its farming identity, why certain crops do so well there.
And that location, bordering India, being part of that tract that shapes its agriculture, its history.
It really does. And it's interesting, admin-wise, it's relatively new as a separate district. Only since 1984.
Really? So it was carved out of Bogura?
Yeah, exactly. A modern administrative layer on, well, a much older landscape.
So moving from the land to the people, what does Joypurhat look like demographically?
We're looking at roughly 1 million people, mostly Muslim, but there's also a pretty significant Hindu minority and smaller Christian and Buddhist groups, too.
And culturally, linguistically.
Well, crucially, Bengali is the main language spoken there. That really anchors it firmly within the wider culture of Bangladesh.
That Bengali connection is fundamental. And does that strong cultural identity connect to how people make a living?
Absolutely. The economy is overwhelmingly agricultural. It's a real powerhouse for Bangladesh's food supply.
Okay, so what are we talking? Rice, wheat?
Yes, rice, wheat, lots of vegetables. But it's particularly known for potatoes and sugarcane. It's one of the country's biggest producers for both of those.
Potatoes and sugarcane. Interesting. And beyond the farms, is there much industry?
There is, yeah. Small and medium scale, mostly. Lots of rice mills, naturally. Potato cold storage facilities, which makes sense. And the big one is Joypurhat Sugar Mills Ltd.
Ah, the sugar mill. I read that's one of the largest government mills.
That's the one. It's quite an icon there, an industrial landmark alongside the fields.
Okay, so we have this strong agricultural identity, but the source also mentioned it being a historical gem. What does that refer to?
Well, there's real historical depth. Archaeological finds link it way back to ancient Bengal. And then, more recently, it played a significant and quite poignant role in the 1971 Liberation War.
Ah, yes. The source mentioned mass graves, memorials. You can still see those reminders.
You can. It's a history that feels, quite present.
How does that deep, sometimes difficult history blend with the culture today?
It creates this really vibrant traditional Bengali culture. You see it in things like folk music and jatra, that's their kind of rural theater tradition.
Right, jatra.
And religious festivals are huge, really central to daily life. It's mostly a rural district, quite peaceful. People are known for their hospitality.
So culture revolves around those festivals and probably local markets.
Exactly. The local hats and bazaars, the market fairs are major social and economic hubs. It's a very community-oriented way of life, still deeply connected to Bengali traditions and language.
It sounds quite traditional, but is it isolated? How's the connectivity?
No, actually, it's pretty well connected. Good rail links, roads to major cities. Joypurhat railway station is apparently quite an important junction.
Okay. And what about things like education? Is there development happening there?
Yeah, it seems so. The source mentions improving quality, highlighting places like Joypurhat Government College and also a girls' cadet college. So there's definitely investment in that area.
And if someone were visiting, wanting to see these different facets, the history, the industry, what are some key sites?
Well, for history, definitely the Gopinathpur Temple Complex. There's also the Pathanpara Mosque, known for its terracotta designs. Very historic.
Terracotta. Nice.
And then, as we mentioned, the Joypurhat Sugar Mills itself. It really stands as a symbol of that industrial aspect alongside the agriculture.
Okay, so pulling this all together for our listeners, what's the main takeaway from this deep dive into Joypurhat?
I think what emerges is this picture of a place where everything connects. The unique geography of the Burin Tract, this really strong farming identity, especially potatoes and sugarcane, the weight and resilience of its history, and this vibrant traditional Bengali culture, all expressed through the Bengali language.
Right.
It all converges.
The district that really encapsulates a lot about Bangladesh.
Exactly. And maybe the final thought for you to consider is this. How a place like Joypurhat, which seems primarily agricultural on the surface, actually gives us profound insight into a whole nation's layered identity. Every field, every factory like that sugar mill, every old temple or mosque, they're all telling you part of a much bigger story, you know? The story of Bangladesh itself.